What's up, everybody? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of SportsCasters. We thank you for listening and hope you enjoy. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of SportsCasters. I'm your co-host, Michaela Evans, and this podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, Official Slim Dev Music, and Matt SportsHouse. I'm here with our lovely host, Julia Santos, our founder, Chris Lyles Jr., our two sports analysts, Matthew Anderson and Sterling Harris, and our lovely guest, Deric Rush. So welcome, everybody. We're going to start this podcast off, and our first topic, we're going to bring up Carson Wentz. So the Eagles are currently in third place with a 3-7-1 record. Wentz is only completing 58% of his passes, and he has 16 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
Yo, I already know Chris been saying a lot about it, so you got to start off with it because I've been seeing a whole lot of tweets and everything, so go ahead.
Man, I've been saying this since last year. This man needs to go. I don't know what it is with Carson Wentz. Ever since that 2017 season when he got hurt, that man has not been the same since then. And I think me personally, like the Eagles have, tried to stick with him. Even people who said he was good, and obviously he wasn't playing good. Like, bro, when you this past, like, I guess, what is that, 3 seasons now, you have, like, not played to your potential and not have played to what you're capable of, and you still got a starting job, like, that kind of bothers me a little bit because, you got some QBs out here that, I ain't gonna name no names, Cam Newton, who is, like, had to struggle to find a job just because of him being hurt. But here it is, you playing well, not playing well, but you have a job, and you still, like, not producing what you need to produce. Like, you lead the league in interceptions, and then you lead the league in sacks for this season and last season. So I think he leads the league right now with 15 interceptions. He only thrown 16 touchdowns, and he's been sacked 46 times out of these past 2 seasons. So he leads the league in both of those. So it's like, me personally, I felt like he should have been sacked. I'm glad they started to give Jalen Hurts more playing time. I think going forward, I think they need to look at another option. Now, granted, they still in, like, the playoff hunt. Worst division in the NFL, so do what you got to do. But long-term, I think they need to, kind of look to him to let it go. I also talked with one of our sportscasters, Isaac, on this as well, and he said that – well, I said that if the Cowboys do not sign Dak, I'm just leave it at that.
NFC least.
There you go. I like that one.
Okay, see, my issue with this is, like, do y'all really think that is, like, he not hitting his full potential, or that 1 year was a fluke? Because it's just, like, after time, it just seemed like he going downhill. It don't, like, oh, like, is that his potential? Because he not even close to where he was at in 2017. Like, ever since, he just been going down, 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 and down. You know what I mean? Like, how can you say, like you saying your potential when it's like, yo, you only showed one time. Now, if you saying he had, like, 3-4 seasons where, you seen him at his best, and then you see him go downhill, you could be like, that's not his potential. But when you have one season where you only did good, at this point, we don't really know your potential. We don't know if that was really your potential at 2017 or that was just a good year for you.
No, that's a real thing. And a lot of times you see that whenever people kind of lose track of that momentum they have, especially quarterbacks, because there's so much of a momentum, they never get it back. And that's the thing about injuries too. But I don't know. I feel like Jalen Hurts, like, I think he's grasping the offense. I think it's going to take him some more time. And I know this is why they really hate that they got rid of Nick Foles or traded him away, because this would be the perfect situation for him to come in and save the day. But I think they're going to keep – and they gave him a pretty big contract too, so I think they're going to try to hold on to him as much as possible. But they'll probably have to reevaluate some things, and at the end of the year, it still keeps trending downwards.
Oh, there you go. All right. But, so the thing about Wentz is, like, he he's having issues. Receivers haven't created separation since 2017. I mean, let's just be honest. He doesn't have lucky that can get open. But at the same time, that's why you get paid the money you get paid. When Aaron Rodgers got paid this type of money earlier in this era, he was one of those quarterbacks that had no running game, pass protection was horrible, didn't draft a receiver in the first round, and I don't know how long. But Aaron Rodgers, somehow, someway, because of how talented he was, always found a way to get his team in a position where they're either in the playoffs, NFC Championship game, somewhere around that, there, because that's what he gets paid to do. Carson Wentz is not playing what he's being paid to play as, which is the biggest problem with the Eagles. And when you get in a situation like that, you can't really just chuck him out of town because you paid him all that money. If you do something like that, you're going to lose even more cap. So I think what the Eagles need to do is you can't get rid of Wentz. And clearly there's a disconnect with him and Peterson as well, as far as you can just look at the games. Peterson was way more comfortable calling plays when Foles played than compared to when Wentz played. There's a disconnect there in terms of the quarterback and coach. Something's not working right there. So right now, I think what the Eagles might have to do, if you can't get rid of Wentz's contract, you might have to get rid of the coach, at least to try to accommodate for Wentz's contract until you start a new cycle of drafting, developing, and free agency periods. Because right now, I mean, the offense is abysmal. The defensive side of the ball actually carries them in these situations, but right now the offense is horrible.
So one thing I would say, let's look at some things. I'm going to kind of come to Carson Wentz's defense just a little bit, because let's look at some facts. So Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, they average at least 5 yards a carry. I know for a fact Boston Scott does. I'm not going to speak on Miles Sanders. I might be wrong for that, but I know Boston Scott averages 5 yards a carry. With that being said, they both combined average less than 16 carries a game. So let's really sit here and address this situation. If you know that you have a quarterback that's going through woes, but you still have running backs that can carry that load offensively, and they're doing it with a subpar offensive line. I mean, they're not getting that many carries, but they're still making the most out of those carries. Your receiving core is, I mean, they do the best they can. I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, so I can't talk too much about receiving cores. But anyways, why not let them boys tote that thing for a little minute? You got two of them. And you open up the play action pass. I mean, it's really that is the most simple. You run the ball to open up the pass. That's old school, and that's as old school as about as old school as you can get. But nonetheless, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think the question kind of becomes, why aren't the Eagles running the football more in some of their games, as opposed to not just why is Carson Wentz's performance subpar? Yeah, I mean, you it's hard to get in a rhythm when your offensive line isn't protecting you and you have nobody to throw the ball to. So maybe use the run to open up that pass game, start off short, maybe change to a West Coast offense. There's a lot of different options there. And finally, my most important point is that as much as I love to support another black man, like Jalen Hurts just needs a little more grooming. Like his quarterback ability is. I'm not buying the quarterback abilities just yet. He's a great athlete, great competitor. Love to watch him play. His long ball is not there, and I'm not sold on him being that guy. So I think it's more or less the question of why. What's the offensive play scheme? What's the offensive play scheme? Let's look at that and then see, hey, what are we doing wrong?
To respond to you about that run the football point, right? So here's the thing. Here's why it comes back on Wentz, in my opinion. Ultimately, I think there's pull on both sides of the coach and Wentz and everything and personnel. But here's why it's ultimately on Wentz. When they went on that 17 run when they won the Super Bowl, their main thing was running RPOs. So if I'm thinking about that, when Nick Foles you're running RPOs, where it's run pass option, of course, you can do whatever. I'm assuming that the reason why they're not running it to the effect that they're doing it now is because Wentz isn't making the right reads. You can't call those plays if Wentz is going to pull it when he should hand it off, or he's going to hand it off when he should have pulled it and thrown the pass. So I think Wentz is having trouble making those reads, why they don't do RPOs as much as they used to, which is why running backs may not be getting design runs, because it's you can kind of point that out personnel wise, who's on the field, who's not on the field, stuff like that. And then it's the stuff he can control. He's not controlling to a high degree. Like you can't control, getting a bad O line, but you can control holding the ball too long. You can control when you have a shot to hit down the field, like Aaron Rodgers had shots hit down the field, he always connected because he knew he had to. Wentz misses bad throws, like easy throws. He misses them bad. And then he has other situations where he's holding the ball too long and fumbling, and now you got your defense in a bad situation. So that's the only thing I'll say about your running the football point. But, it's a lot going on, but I think that's why the RPOs and running the ball's not happening as much. He's just not reading it correctly.
So I have 2 points. Going back to what you said about, running the ball, and I mean, that's true, but they're supposed to run the ball 3 years in a row. Like, I mean, you going back since what, 2017? Like, that man has been sorry since 2017. So technically that's 4 seasons because you got to count the 2017 season, 2018, 2019, and this season. So that man has been sorry for 4 seasons. So it's like you're just going to keep running the ball the whole time? So it's like I feel like, yes, there's a way that you could adjust and maybe run the ball a little bit more. But in terms of, like, at the end of the day, you are the quarterback. You are the leader and the play call for that team. So if something on the offensive end does not work and you're trying to run the ball, but you see a blitz coming, why would you still run the ball? And I think going back to Sterling's point, he's missing easy throws. Like, we could go out there and throw them passes. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, it gets to a point where it's like, dude, you're getting paid big dollars to make the little mistakes. I can see if it was big mistakes, but you're making little errors. So, and then the second point, I got to go back to my boy Jalen. Man, you're not going to do that to my boy. At the end of the day, yes, in college, I personally think, like, yes, when he was with Oklahoma, that's obviously his best season when he was with Oklahoma, hands down. When he was with Alabama, he was pretty solid. Lost the job. It happens. I mean, it happens in the working world, whatever. To say he's not ready, I think he's in the perfect situation to learn and to groom. At the end of the day, if you were to throw him with, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a team. If you were to switch him with maybe like the Packers. So if you were to take Jalen Hurts and take him off of the Eagles and put him on the Packers, that's a whole totally different Packers team. Let's just be honest. But given the Eagles are in that kind of like, yeah, they're number one, I think, in the division, number 1 or number 2?
No, they're third now.
Third. Okay, excuse me. So that even strengthens my point. So it's like at the end of the day, yes, you're fighting for a playoff spot, but long term, y'all not gonna get nowhere. You might as well just throw him in there, let him learn at least, and let him grow. I'm not gonna give a quarterback that I see make the same mistakes over and over again when I can just train a young quarterback and be better. I mean, that's the logical sense. And then pay him a little bit less money than Wentz? Exactly. So it's like
– No, that's the problem why you can't play him, though.
Yeah, you can't. So you think Jalen's going to want more money than Wentz?
No, I'm saying Wentz is making too much money to where you can bench him. You can't pull him from the game at this point.
I'm not training a quarterback, my leader. I'm not training you during the season. That's what we have quarterback coaching. That's what we have a whole offseason plan for. Once that contract is signed, and he has that's a big contract.
Massive deal.
Not nothing to play with. I'm going to get ROI on that. I need it.
So I'm saying for this season, still keep Wentz. You still got to do what you did. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. My bad. Let me say long term, when Wentz's contract is on the down slope, and it's like, all right, dude. Bye. So it's like, I feel like once his contract is up, then it's like, all right, cool. You could be in the meantime developing Jalen to take the reins behind Wentz. I'm not saying now because I think they're in the playoff hunt. I don't know with the East. You really never know, honestly. So
you drafted him in the second round. Personally, I wouldn't throw Jalen Hurts out there with this team. Anyway, that's just a recipe for failure. No. Like, you're setting up for failure to do that. Now, if we look at the draft the next couple of years, and we see in the personnel that they draft, and if it's tailoring towards where you can see, this guy's probably going to fit with Hurts more than Winston. You'll see what's going on there. But right now, I don't even want Jalen Hurts playing. Like, he doesn't change anything for that team right now. They're too bad everywhere. It just wouldn't make sense to throw them in there when they're still one game out of the playoffs, unfortunately, because the NFC East is so horrible. So I wouldn't even do that right now.
Hey, and just for y'all know, for the contract, the total contract is 6 years, $154 million. And I think I saw over 4 years, it is 128. It was something like that. But that's a lot of money, like you said.
Give me the loot.
Like, bro, why you getting paid this much? And you got
that man got that Gordon Hayward money.
You got folk like Sam Newton who making $7.5 million off of 1 year. Like, come on, bro.
Problem with
The
Cam is
Gordon
he
Hayward
completed,
contract with this one.
I'm about to say Cam completed like half of his passes. He went like 6 for 12. I think it was his pass game. So Cam, I don't know
But
what's going to happen next year.
I would say they're in equal situations as far as team goes. Now, actually, no, they're not. Cam Newton and the Patriots, their key issue is they done had like half the team sit out. So that's a big issue why they're not winning. The Eagles have
That's the only
everybody,
reason.
and they still garbage. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Okay, actually, let me clarify this. So the guarantees on that contract are north of $107 million. Where is Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey? I have not seen Alshon since the Super Bowl.
and he's hurt.
Look, Deshaun is hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deshaun is hurt. Alshon ain't been the same since he dropped the ball against the Saints when they was about to go back to the championship next year when Foles took over. All right, they drafted a receiver in Rager that I think you had a million other receivers you could have drafted that were better than him. You're not getting anything out of him. Wentz's best targets are his tight ends, and Ertz is hurt for the year, I think. So it's really Goddard, and I think they signed some other random tight end. But those are his best weapons. That's pretty much all he got, and the running backs. And then O-line-wise, Lane Johnson's sitting out the rest of the year. I think Jason Peters is out for the year. So O-line has been shuffled, I think, over 20 times. So it's a lot of things. But, that's why when you get a contract like that, you have to look at somebody that was in a situation. That's why I always point to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had the same type of issues in terms of no good real receiver unless he made them, and then no running game for him. Like, you couldn't run the ball with them. And when there was throws that had to be made, he made those throws. Wentz is getting paid that type of money. He's not making those throws.
The Eagles honestly remind me of that Cleveland team that, like, on paper, that Cleveland Cavaliers team that on paper just busted through the East and didn't do nothing. That's really what they remind me of right now. That was a good team.
So, are you comparing Carson Wentz to LeBron James? Is what I'm getting at.
Oh,
No.
God. I hope not.
That was too much.
Absolutely not comparing him to LeBron James. I'm just saying the Eagles got the pieces to be a really good team, to be number one, especially right now, considering how the NFC East looks. They have all the necessary tools to be taking it over, and they just not doing it. They can't execute. So, sound like Cleveland. I don't know.
We're in bad shape at 3-7, and the 1 is progress.
So, speaking of basketball, we're going to switch it over to the NBA. So, we are 19 days away from the NBA starting all over. And then 3 days away is Christmas. But we got 5 matchups on that day. So, we got, I believe it's, the Pelicans versus Heat, Warriors and Bucks, Nets, Boston, Lakers, Mavericks, Clippers, and Nuggets. So, first, I'm going to say my favorite matchup. I'm going to go with the Nets, only because, and there's one reason, I just want to see how Kyrie and Kevin Durant match up together. I really want to know if this is going to be a good work for the East and that they really going to come out and show something. That's really my only reason. I want to see how they play together, and I feel like Kyrie kind of got something to prove after all this time, especially Kevin Durant, too, because people have been talking a lot about his Achilles injury and if he even going to come back the same. So let me know what y'all favorite game matchup is and which I think.
To your point on the Nets game, the last point you just made is what really interests me. I've never in the past, just dealing with basketball and watching as much basketball as I have over the course of my life, dealing with Achilles returns is that the players usually are never as explosive. They're not quite as, they don't have that step. It's like you can rehab. Even looking at football with Odell, it just wasn't the same player. And I feel like that's a question. However, I got some reliable intel. It's not fact. I can't fact check it because I don't have any footage to support it. But I got some reliable intel from a good source that they had some open runs. They had some open runs on the West Coast. And they said it's going to be a problem this year when Brooklyn steps on the floor. My personal interest is the new look Pelicans. I mean, that's not really a lot of people's interest, but they got bigs, and they got bigs for days right now. And not just bigs. You got Zion coming back. It's his second season. Him and Jackson Hayes, they're two of the best athletes in the West right now. Very athletic, playing above the rim. good. They're good. I mean, they're just good around. They're good for second chance buckets and cleanup points. I will say Jackson Hayes needs to up his points per game. His offensive output wasn't the best last season. I mean, he was young, as is to be expected. But I think that Pelicans team is going to be somebody that's not just going to be a pushover anymore. I'm interested to see how they look, especially against a young Miami Heat team that is battle tested in the playoffs last season. I would be interested to see how that looks.
So who do you have winning that matchup?
I'm going with the Heat just because that's an impressive unit. They are very well coached. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. You still got a young unit of core players. And it's fun to watch them play basketball. And so I would still say, along with that, just having that longevity or that kind of that continuity for coming out of the playoffs, which weren't that long ago, I think they'll still be able to pull it out. But I don't think it's going to be an easy win, though.
Man said continuity. Big word on SportsCasters.
I got it on my SAT.
There you go. So I'm looking at the schedule right now. So I'm gonna just say who I think is gonna win from each one. So Heat, Pelicans, Heat, Bucks, Warriors, Bucks, Nets, Celtics. I got the Nets. I'm gonna go with the Nets. Lakers, Mavericks. I got the Lakers and the Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm gonna go with the Nuggets. I think the Clippers. Yes, you have Kawhi and Serge, but that is a very dismantled team, and I think it's dismantled from a roster perspective, and I believe it's dismantled from a psychic perspective. Like, I don't know what's going on, like, between Kawhi and everybody else. Like, I think everybody's literally hating on Kawhi because there's too many reports of, like, people not liking him because of the treatment he gets, and I think that really played into a lot of why their season ended the way it did, and I think if nothing doesn't change, it's going to be pretty much the same thing in this coming season. So those are my picks. So, I mean, Matt, who you got, man?
I'm looking for in that Brooklyn Celtics matchup. Definitely got Brooklyn. Really, I feel like they're gonna get a lot of TV ratings this year, especially if they kind of start hot. But I know they are gonna have to build up that continuity between the two. But I'm really looking forward to watching the Mavericks this season. See, I like Luka, but I really like Porzingis. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do. I don't think they beat the Lakers. They played the Lakers, right, on Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if they win that, but I'm looking forward to seeing them down the stretch. Got to go ahead and get some Mavericks apparel as we speak. Because
new Lakers team.
This man.
What's up?
Man.
New Lakers team, no, Matt.
I mean, we don't know LeBron playing open today. He might sit out till February.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. But I'm
being
rolling.
honest.
Yeah, I'm really
about 40.
Mavericks can do this year. So we'll see what happens between the and a lot of these guys got these new contracts too. So hopefully they don't.
I mean, Rondo's gone, Dwight's gone. You know, like they pretty much got Quinn Cook's gone. You know, well, he's not gone, but he's a free. They released him right now. They could easily put him back. They got 2 roster spots left, but it's a new team.
I mean, what?
Man,
One thing I would never do.
Games.
One thing I never do is doubt LeBron. I never do that again. I did that one time. I think it was like they was playing the Spurs the first time, and I doubted them and messed around. And I was like, okay, I would never doubt this man again because, like, that man is literally like the mold of literally bringing a bunch of nobodies and literally turning them into all-stars. So, like, I'm not putting nothing past LeBron until the day when he hangs up his jersey. It's like, all right, I can't do this no more. That's the day I will doubt him.
Did you just call Dwayne Wade a nobody?
Ray Allen did. Ray Allen did hit the shot.
See.
Ray Allen did hit the shot.
Don't
nothing matter unless Ray Allen backpedals 10 feet and hits a jumper going backwards. I don't know.
Let's look at D-Wade where he was in his career. D-Wade.
He was still averaging 21.
He not the same D-Wade from 06. No.
He was averaging 21 points, though.
He was always good.
He was older. Come
he's
on
not
now.
Guy, Danny Green. He's not Danny Green for you last year. He wasn't.
Okay, of course, yes, that's true. My thing is, like, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, LeBron is, like, you know, I guess he had great players alongside him in D-Wade and, you know, some other guys. My thing is, like, for the most part of his career, he has taken, you know, at least average players and turned them into all-stars, nonetheless. Like besides, some of the, Chris Bosh's and the D Wade's and Kyrie's and Kevin
Who was
Love's.
average? He turned into an all-star. They was already all-stars. Kevin Love was an all-star. That's why they traded Wiggins for.
I don't think Kyrie was an all-star. I don't think Kyrie was an all-star.
He was like in his second year, though. He was like in his second year. He was going to be one.
Still.
He ain't turn nobody to an all-star. Now look, he turned KCP into an all-star. If KCP was all-star in the West, then give LeBron every rose in the book. But nah, he ain't turn no. Nah.
Man,
he didn't do that now.
I'm just mad this man really just tried to hold D Wade like that, bro. That's my guy.
D Wade is the greatest Heat player of all time. He's talking down on D Wade and like that. Stop.
I retracted what I said. Golly. Don't shoot the messenger. So
That's
I mean,
Sterling,
look at this Christmas Day matchups, man.
We're all
We
excited
gotta think.
about basketball. So let's switch over to college football and the NCAA. Who do we have taking the championship trophy? I am personally an Alabama fan, so I am Roll Tide in all the way. Personally, yeah, that's me. What do y'all think?
I love Ohio State.
I'm about to say this one, the fan.
I love Ohio State, but Alabama's gonna cause us some problems in the playoff. They're gonna cause them some major. I've been seeing how Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, all those guys how they're playing right now. They're gonna cause us a lot of problems right now. We got a lot of stuff we need to get fixed up, especially our pass coverage on our defensive backs and whatnot. So we're gonna see what happens. But I do think Alabama will cause the Ohio State Buckeyes the most problems. I'm not too much worried about Clemson. No, I'm not too worried about them. It's Alabama, the boys from State.
Listen.
Go ahead, Deric. My bad, man.
Ian Book has been playing some real good football. Okay, the game management. I'm impressed with his game management. Now, with that being said, Justin Fields is Justin Fields is a straight up problem. At the end of the day, though, I'm going with Michaela. Najee Harris, you can't stop that man. There's nothing you can do about that. It's nothing you can do about that. At the end of the day, that's a SEC. That's a collard greens fed. Look, ain't nothing you can do about that. Once he get that ball through the A gap, you might as well just go and get out the way. That Alabama's gonna win another one. Who they play? That's a good question. I really. I feel like it gets closer. Once you start talking about Notre Dame and Ohio State, just because they play such a good cut of football on the offensive end, and I really can't say right now, but whoever wins out of those two, I feel like is going to be facing Bama.
Deric, you think Clemson loses the Notre Dame and ACC championship game?
Yeah, I think that first loss took the wind out of him. I think that turned. Come back. Hold on. Where you going? Wait. Hey.
He's doing the SpongeBob. I'm a head out move. Get out real quick.
Go ahead, Deric.
This is a different Notre Dame team. This isn't Manti Te'o. Them boys got they got it, and they proved it against Clemson.
Go ahead, Sterling. Go ahead, bro.
Sterling, is that Clemson game too?
I mean, I'm not picking Clemson to win the playoff, but they're going to beat the crap out of Notre Dame the next time they see them. Let's think about this. That Notre Dame team, with your great Ian Book, played in 2 overtimes versus the Clemson defense that had 4 people missing. Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing. And it took them 2 overtimes at home where the students rushed the field insanely to me for them to beat that Clemson team. And you telling me when Trevor Lawrence and them 3 guys, Mike Jones Jr., and the rest of those boys on defense come back, that they're going to beat them again? Nah, that ain't happening. Now, to my pick, I'm Roll Tide too here. Just for the reason that y'all forgot that Jalen Waddle apparently is on schedule to possibly come back for the playoff. Did y'all know that?
I didn't know that.
Nick Saban, before the Auburn game, put out a statement that Jalen Waddle apparently could be back for the college football playoff. If Jalen Waddle shows up in the college football playoff, go ahead and just hand the trophy to Bama because Clemson secondary ain't guarding him and Smith. Mac Jones has been playing unbelievable. He might win the Heisman. People keep forgetting. Y'all said Najee, Devontae Smith, But Mac Jones is spinning this football without turning it over and is moving his offense and got them rolling. Defensively, I don't think people notice. Bama defensively has been pretty much 2010, 2011-esque Bama in terms of not giving up much points whatsoever, forcing turnovers, being really aggressive. Ever since that Ole Miss game, they've tightened down really hard on defense. What they got in the middle, Dylan Moses there. Veteran corners on the outside. So what you got?
Hey, let me interrupt you for a second. I think most people in their mind had that Ole Miss game and everybody kind of threw away the Alabama defense. And then so it's like no matter how – and then you just focus on their offense. But, yeah, their defense has been playing better. I didn't even think, so between Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, Mac Jones, and if Jalen Waddle gets back, like Ohio State was struggling against like these other Big Ten teams with Penix and those guys. So can you imagine what them SEC guys going to do to them? But I am a Justin Fields fan. I want him to win the Heisman. Don't think that's going to happen. I think Mac Jones is in the driver's seat at this point because Trevor has missed games, Justin's missed games, and then Justin had that 3-interception performance against Indiana. So.
I mean, I don't even know if y'all gonna make the playoff. You think the Big Ten gonna conspire against y'all and cancel games so y'all can't win the championship?
If we don't make the playoff,
Michigan will do it.
It's not the best 4 teams in the country. Did anybody think there's any chance of upset between Florida and Alabama in the SEC championship game?
Nah. Good offense, the high-powered offense. That defense is just better. I'm sorry, it's just not happening.
And then lastly, what y'all think about BYU and BYU Coastal Carolina moved to 5:30 on Saturday, battle of the undefeateds.
Oh, it's going to be a good one, but BYU's going to take it.
Don't mean nothing for the playoff, though.
Right.
Yeah.
BYU's going to take that, though. It's still going to be a good matchup, though. The only reason why I say BYU is because anytime when you have a first-round quarterback, I mean, you obviously have the upper hand either way. So I feel like Zach Wilson going to come in and just do his thing, honestly. Go ahead, Sterling. You made a face. Go ahead.
I was about to say, do you disagree?
That was No. But here's the thing, though. You talk about a first-round quarterback in Zach Wilson. But Coastal Carolina's system offensively would give Zach Wilson very, very minimal chances to actually score the football if they do it correctly with their triple option, clock-consuming, ball-dominant offense. So I'm going to pick Coastal. I'm going to pick Coastal to win this thing. I think them at home, college game days in town, a lot of people going to be hyped up for the game. BYU got a lot of hype behind them. They're going to come in here desperate, for one, because they know they have to win a certain amount of games to actually make the playoff. And they can go undefeated and win whatever, and they still won't make the playoff. So I'm going to pick Coastal at home. James Chadwell, he's going to get it done. They ain't going to give Zach Wilson the ball. He might have like 6 to 7 possessions. Won't score enough points. Coastal will swing with the upset. Still, I mean, that's for the playoff, though. None of them teams making the playoff. I mean, we have in the Pac-12 at this point.
I think we have a growing trend.
You get on me, and then you pick Coastal?
I mean, have you seen Coastal play? Have you seen Coastal play?
No, I've seen Coastal play, but they ain't played no BYUs.
But look, has BYU? But look, Coastal. Here's the other thing about Coastal. Coastal's proven to be in a close App State game. App State is one of those borderline teams that you see them beat Power Fives every single year. That to me was the game I had to watch them play and see if those are the real deal or not. You beat App State, then you're actually ascending somewhere as a program, okay? Because App State will beat us. Yeah, they did last year. They beat North Carolina last year too. Who beat us?
They're going the right direction as a program. They're not beating BYU. I'm sorry.
What made BYU a powerhouse all of a sudden?
No.
What made them so great? I'm trying to figure that out.
His rise, I think the rise of Zach Wilson has really put them on the radar, and they just keep winning. I think they have the biggest point differential in all the country this year. And there's a really good point I heard the other day, and it's like BYU, obviously they couldn't control COVID and stuff, but on their schedule this year, they're supposed to play Utah, Michigan State, Arizona State, and Minnesota. And Minnesota had a really good team last year. So it's not really their fault, but I know they still can't make the playoffs. But I think Zach Wilson is
played Washington.
What's up?
They could have played Washington last Friday. They said, nah. Let's not do that game.
The thing that I was trying to figure out is why not play a powerhouse thing that could – I don't even think they could get into the playoff, but that would more so put you in the – like, even because if they beat Coastal, everyone's going to be like, oh, that's a great win, but, like, they're not going to the playoff. I'm trying to figure out why they wouldn't schedule an opponent that was more so like, a Division I a Power 5 school.
Because, I mean, let's just be honest. Who have they – let's look at BYU's actual active schedule. Okay, they beat La Tech, Louisiana Tech. Okay, they didn't get to play Army at the time. They beat Troy, Texas San Antonio, Houston, Texas State, Western Kentucky, Boise State, and North Alabama. Who cares? None of them teams, in my opinion, stack up to App State. So who cares?
But what I'm telling y'all is they scheduled the game, they just didn't work out. But what I'm saying is, why would y'all believe that they would not schedule an opponent this week? Let's say like a Coastal Carolina, one of the bigger time schools that may be on the buyer and miss games.
Because they don't want that smoke.
Exactly. That part.
Look, if BYU wants to make the playoff, they better schedule Georgia at the end of the year.
But
if
Coastal,
they win this game.
But in that case, Coastal isn't really doing nothing for you.
That's my point.
Look, they have enough hype at this point to where it could look really good.
They might become a national championship like UCF did.
But I have a feeling about Coastal for this game. I think Coastal gonna pull this thing out. All right, I just have a feeling about them boys. They've been playing great all year, and they beat App State. The App State win showed me a lot. They had to dig for that one. It wasn't no cakewalk. App State's a very well coached team. They always beat Power 5. I mean, you can call them like the mid-major of football, so to speak. You know, the mid-majors that come up in March Madness and beat the big schools in the tournament and everything. They're like the mid-major school that always upsets a big school. But it's not because they're not good. Everybody sleeps on them. But they're a really good football team. So I got a feeling about Coastal this weekend.
All right, we'll see. I got BYU. We're with Zach Wilson.
Man. Yeah.
All right, y'all. We wrapping up on time. So first, I just want to thank Deric for joining the crew. As always, for this episode of SportsCasters is brought to you by Official Slim Dev Music, Rells Revenge, and SportsHouse. I want to thank y'all for watching this episode with us, and I hope that I'll see you guys next episode. Peace.
Give me the loot.
This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, Official Slim Dev Music, and SportsHouse. Tune in next week for Season 3, Episode 2 of SportsCasters. See you then.